Breaking news today about President-elect Donald Trump's work to stop sentencing in his hush money case. So Trump fired 2 shots trying to get this done. So let's talk about the first shot, a petition to the New York Court of Appeals, and then the second shot asking the Supreme Court to weigh in. So here's your update on that first shot, or the first part, where the New York request is concerned. The judge in New York just declined to block Trump's sentencing. So now, part 2, we await for the Supreme Court to weigh in. And while we wait, there's a pretty urgent ticking clock here. Trump's sentencing is set to take place as early as tomorrow. So all eyes on SCOTUS. Now, we just got this from the Manhattan DA's office. Quote, the defendant makes the unprecedented claim that the temporary presidential immunity he will possess in the future fully immunizes him now, weeks before he even takes the oath of office. It goes on to say this extraordinary immunity claim is unsupported by any decision from any court. It is axiomatic, they say, that there is only one president at a time, close quote. Bringing you up to speed here, a jury found Trump guilty of 34 felony counts for falsifying business records last summer. CBS News legal contributor Caroline Polisi joins us live on the stream today. Always good to talk to you, my friend. You make me smarter here. So does the New York decision influence the Supreme Court's thinking as we have all eyes on the Supreme Court with that ticking clock in mind?
Yeah, I don't think so. I think that was sort of the expected course of action by the New York state courts. And as you mentioned, Trump's lead attorney, Todd Blanche, had already sort of had the wheels in motion to go to the Supreme Court as early as yesterday. And I think it's likely we will hear the court weigh in given their expedited mandate to prosecutors. We heard today from Manhattan prosecutors that they obviously are opposing this last-ditch effort to stop the sentencing. But, you know, the Supreme Court has a 6-3 conservative supermajority. 3 of those justices were appointed during President Trump's first term of office. And nobody really saw the immunity decision coming. I think, you know, it's not necessarily the Hail Mary that it's been described as being. The court very well likely may side with Trump. You know, as you noted, that argument there that they're making is that this broad presidential immunity that the Supreme Court granted earlier this summer, that is supposed to be bestowed upon presidents-elects as well. So we'll see where that goes.
Okay, so let's break down the possibilities if the sentencing goes on as scheduled. So the judge has already said that the president-elect will not face any jail time. So what does he face here?
Yeah, nothing. It's a symbolic finality to the case, if anything. Justice Juan Merchan has already indicated he would be open to and likely will impose what's known as an unconditional discharge, meaning not only no jail time, no fine, no restrictions on travel, basically, and actually literally no punishment. All it would be is a symbolic finishing of this case. He would be a convicted felon, and it would start the clock for his appeal of the conviction to move forward. Now, he has pending motions to dismiss the case prior to that, but it's really symbolic at this point, which, is take from that what you will, but it's an interesting issue.
Yeah. Interesting issue, especially for those who are tried and convicted for the same issues going forward. It would be fascinating to hear what they think about what happens to them if they are convicted. So while we have you here, let's turn a page here. Another Trump case that we really haven't talked to about in a while, and that's the one down in Georgia. Atlanta DA Fani Willis is asking the Georgia Supreme Court to put her back on the Trump election interference case. This really kind of got me. Is this her last chance to hold on to this prosecution? We know she's deeply invested, but she was also deeply criticized on many points as she advanced in this argument. How likely is it that she'll be allowed back on the case?
I think pretty unlikely. You know, the appellate court in Georgia overturned that trial court's decision saying that Fani Willis could stay on the case. There was an appearance of impropriety that, Fani Willis had engaged in this romantic relationship with a prosecutor she hired, Nathan Wade, and that the remedy, therefore, would just be that Nathan Wade had to leave the prosecutorial team. Now, the appellate court said, she and the entire office needs to be removed from this case because this appearance of impropriety really is too great for the public to stomach, and that even though there wasn't an actual conflict, that appearance is enough to disqualify her. Bonnie Willis is now taking this up to the Supreme Court in Georgia, saying, look, even though, that's not the rule in Georgia, that, even though there is potentially the appearance of an impropriety, there's no actual conflict for her office to move forward on the case. I don't think she has a good chance of winning. It's a pretty well-known conservative court, and they would have to overturn the appellate court. So I don't see it working out for her.
Caroline Polisi, thank you so much for the updates. We expect, as we await to hear what the Supreme Court will say relative to Donald Trump and that hush money case, we expect to have you back on CBS News 24/7. Don't go too far. We know that could come in at any minute.